knowledge is concerned,
He was chief of staff po of
at the time,
Malacanang.
when I first got to know them, they were attorney and Mrs. Corona. And at that point in time, I definitely was not following up on his role.
But the negotiations for this started in January.
No, it started in 1999.
I see. So yes, he was then outside of government and became chief of staff when Gloria Arroyo became president. Well, Oh, he was the chief of staff of Gloria Arroyo as vice president. Well, in any case, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. It's good to see you in good health.
For a good friend like the senator, I'm always
The
happy.
gentleman from Makati and Bicol.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to be educated for my edification. Supposing we grant, as the line of questioning of the prosecution indicated, that there was irregularity in the sale between the Basas and the City of Manila, that the procedures were not followed. In short, there was an irregularity. Now, can you please edify me in what part of the articles of impeachment will that be relevant? Can anyone answer that? Public prosecutors.
The prosecution, can you answer the question of the gentleman from Makati and Bicol?
Your Honor, may we ask
Yes,
may we ask Senator Roy to repeat the question, please?
Oh, I've forgotten the question. Let me put it this way, no? To put it simply, let us assume that the transaction between the City of Manila, headed by Mayor Atienza, and the Basas or the Basa Corporation or whatever, had been attended with irregularities, that there was something wrong, and we can attribute some fault or whatever. Now, can you educate me at least so that I'll be enlightened when I make a decision on the impeachment? Where do you connect it with Article 2, Article 3, Article 7? Where? How do you connect that?
Your Honor, this would be in relation on the part of the prosecution on Article 2, Sal N.
Namely, can you
Namely, now the defense is introducing this as evidence. The 34.7 million check paid for Cristina Corona in trust for Basa Guidote Enterprises, Inc. And the theory of the prosecution is that it was misappropriated by Cristina Corona, deposited in her personal account, and therefore, and if we follow the line of reasoning by the defense, it ended up in the account of the Chief Justice. Therefore, it should have been included and declared in the SALN. So it would fall under Article 2.
All right, fine. If that is your theory, because I don't think the defense admits, or rather contests the proposition, that 35, how much was that, 35?
34.7
All right,
million.
34.7 million, which was money in trust held by Mrs. Corona, was deposited in the account of Chief Justice Corona. Those are more or less established facts. All right.
Yes.
Now, what I want to be clarified is this. Assuming that, how do you connect that? What is the connection with the accusation in Article 2? You are not charging the ill-gotten wealth. You are not charging what's this other elements. Now, we're talking here in Article 2 of Sal-N. In other words, we're talking whether Corona, the Chief Justice, made an honest revelation of his assets and liabilities. So, with the interpellation of Mayor Atienza, what do we gather? Assuming all of that, how does that strengthen the position of the prosecution?
We were just testing the credibility, the credence of the testimony. But going back to the point...
No, wait, let's stop there, Neil. Okay. In other words, it has nothing to do with the substance of Article 2. It is testing the credibility of the witness.
No, Your Honor. It has something to do with the substance of Article 2. Because, namely because the position of the prosecution is that all assets should be declared.
Yes. Okay, agreed.
And the 34 million,
yes.
34.7 million was deposited,
right.
Misappropriated and deposited in the personal account of Maria Cristina Corona.
Misappropriated by whom?
By Mrs. Corona.
All right, Mrs. Corona misappropriated. But does it appear in the Sal-N?
That's the reason why. That's the reason we're disputing it, Your Honor, because the theory of the prosecution is that all of this should have been declared in the Sal-N. And it has never been declared.
The way I see it, if it was entered in the Sal-N, then irregular, stolen, or whatever, that is not at issue. What is at issue is whether he entered the amount in the Sal-N. That's the question. I mean, I'm not questioning anything. I want to be educated because we are about to arrive at a moment of truth. We will recess and we can think about it. I want to simplify the issues, at least as far as I'm concerned.
With respect to that, probably we can submit a memorandum.
No. It's very difficult to submit a memorandum because all I want to know is that we spent 3 hours here on the conducting the direct and cross-examination of Mayor Atienza now about the irregularities. But what is undisputed is that 34.7 million was paid by the City of Manila. The 34.7 was paid to Mrs. Corona as supposedly attorney in fact or whatever. Then that money was deposited in the account of Chief Justice Corona. Justice Cuevas, do you confirm that is how it happened?
This money, Your Honor, does not belong to even Mrs. Corona herself because as the check will show, this is for Basa Guidote, Your Honor, and received by Mrs. Corona only in trust, Your Honor. So if it is received by her in trust, there is nothing that she can transfer to her husband, Your Honor.
No, I'm not talking about transfer to the husband.
Yes.
But I am only asking, was it deposited in the account of Chief Justice Corona?
There is no evidence to that effect, Mr. Your Honor, please.
All right, if there's no evidence to that effect, they deny it, that it was deposited. So, again, I go back to the relevance of that money. The money, City of Manila paid Mrs. Corona. Where that went, that is what I am asking the prosecution. What is your theory? Meaning, the disposition now of the 34.7 million. What's the theory of the prosecution?
I think, Your Honor, that should be the duty, the job, the burden should be on the defense to prove that. But as far as we are concerned now,
Yes.
as far as we are concerned, based on the testimony so far of the witnesses presented, the money was deposited in the personal account of Mrs. Corona in Malacanang. That's Land Bank. And to us, she treated it as her own money. Therefore, it has relation with the SALN because it's an asset.
Mrs. Corona deposited that 34.7 million in her own account.
Yes.
All right. But Ms. Corona is not being charged here. It's Chief Justice Corona. Well, here is Mrs. Corona, who receives 34.7 million, which perhaps it's not hers, perhaps it's hers, perhaps it's whatever, then deposited in her account. Now, what's the position now of the prosecution?
The position of the prosecution is that it should have been...
I mean that particular money, 34.7 million.
Now, so far, what we see is that it was deposited in a personal account. That's what we see so far. And to us, it has relevance, materiality on Article 2 of the impeachment complaint, which is SALN. Because even if the Chief Justice...
I cannot. It's the SALN of Chief Justice Corona that is at issue. I even thought, I was going along with the idea that it was deposited in the account of it was deposited in the account of Chief Justice Corona. That is why it was listed in the SALN. But it turns out that we are not clear on just what we are discussing about on that 34.7.
The position, Your Honor, is that even the personal property of the wife should be included in the SALN. Mm-hmm. And that is the position of the prosecution.
I see.
But as of now, the defense, probably most of the questions should be addressed to the defense.
No,
because,
I won't dispute
because they are the ones presenting their defense and not us.
I'm not, believe me, I am not, and I will not contest the position at this point of the prosecution. I respect whatever position you have. But I just want it clear. Otherwise, we will be going round and round. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you also to Senator Joker Arroyo. Your Honor.
Mr. President.
Just the floor leader.
Mr. President, may we ask that the witness, the Honorable former Mayor Atienza, be discharged? Temporarily.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well,
Until the next hearing, Your
the
Honor.
distinguished former Mayor of Manila is discharged momentarily, and we shall the court will notify him when we resume the trial of this
May 7, Your Honor.
case in the afternoon of May 7.